What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about current news in Norway. Because as an American, I never get to see Norwegian news here in the United States. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Norway right now. Starting with, Norway issues new warnings about Russia and China and a call to arms. Oh my god. I've been seeing this a little more frequently in the last couple of weeks. Whenever I check out the Norwegian news, there's always something very scary about Norway and its defense budget and warnings about Russia, but also China as well. I want to take a look at this. Norway issues new warnings about Russia and China. A call to arms. A call to arms. What does that mean exactly? Is Norway actually anticipates like going to war or something? That's a very serious statement, a call to arms. Norwegian Prime Minister doesn't want to scare his fellow citizens, but his message in a special address on Thursday was clear. So the Prime Minister of Norway made a special announcement on Thursday. Okay, the world has become more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more complex, he said, making national security and defense the government's top priority. This must be so wild for Norwegians, especially, I have to say from my point of view, this is just a totally different world that Norwegians are living in. Like here in the United States, we really don't hear about this much on the news. We don't talk about the world being dangerous and unpredictable, and I think that's because we really feel separated from all of the conflicts happening outside of the United States. But for Norway, you're right there, and I imagine this is quite scary and concerning. The more dangerous world is behind the government's latest plan for huge investments in defense and prompted the Prime Minister to send out new warnings about China's intentions as well as those of Russia. I know that Norway has been alarmed about Russia. I did not know about Norway and China. He stressed how Russia's invasion of Ukraine and its brutal war against its neighbor marked a sense of before and after, a deep security policy in crisis in Europe, while tensions also keep rising among the US, China, and Russia. And this creates consequences for Norway. Wow. That is really kind of scary for me to read about, actually. I have to be honest. But I am glad that Norway is taking this very, very seriously, and you seem to be taking all the necessary precautions in terms of defense and the possibility of military conflict. Man, that's just not really something that we hear here in the United States. That's why it's so alarming to me, honestly. But I think it's good. I don't think enough Americans realize how serious things are. Whew. All right, let's keep going. Minister fails to curb executive pay. Minister fails to curb executive pay. What does that mean? Executive pay and bonus deals have risen so high in Norway that they've drawn public scorn and been branded as perverse by labor union officials. So is this like how much politicians and government executives are getting paid? People are upset with how much politicians are being paid? Now they've sparked political drama after defiant corporate boards have refused to follow new government guidelines. Oh, this is state-owned companies. This is not government people being paid a lot. It's company executives that are state-owned. So it is the Norwegian government, isn't it? Um, Norway's new trade minister found herself at the center of the storm. Um, Both of them represent the Labour Party and had launched guidelines aimed at keeping executive pay raises in line with the average for other company employees. They wanted it limited it to a maximum of 25% of their base salary. Wow, okay, so this is companies and executives and CEOs in Norway, some of which are state-owned, that are getting huge bonuses and huge amounts of pay, and people are not happy. Okay, that makes sense. I understand. I didn't know that this is a big problem in Norway, actually. Wow. Let's keep going. This is really interesting stuff. Musk loses respect in Norway. Oh, Elon Musk. Okay. Loses respect in Norway. What? What did he say? He used to be the darling of both government and business leaders in Norway. But Tesla founder and billionaire Elon Musk has been losing his appeal and has angered former supporters. That's right, Norway is very, very electric, has a lot of electric cars. I think Norway has some of the most amount of Tesla cars, Tesla vehicles. So the relationship between Elon Musk, Tesla, and Norway was probably very, very good. And now it is not. He has even angered some Norwegian supporters. His aversion to organized labor has long been criticized. Oh, his being anti-union. His run into opposition from Norway's huge sovereign wealth fund, and many are no longer proud to be driving a Tesla. Oh, that is very bad for Tesla, the company. If people start associating the car with Elon Musk and with certain political agendas, then people are going to start feeling like they don't want to drive the car because it says something about them. Norway's oil fund, the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, was among major investors voting against Musk's demand for a compensation package. Oh, I heard about that. All of the Tesla shareholders got to vote on whether Elon Musk got his $1 billion compensation package. Musk ended up winning, but I think the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, which owns a part of Tesla stock, voted against Elon. And I imagine he is upset about that. Okay. Anything else here? This is interesting. Very interesting, especially considering how much of a relationship Tesla has with Norway. I think that's the interesting part about that. Whew. Let's keep going here. Store seeks peace, also at home. Is there not peace at home in Norway? What does that mean? Norwegian Prime Minister spent last week in Switzerland with fellow government leaders from all over the world at the Summit on Peace in Ukraine. Ah, okay. This week he could finally enjoy more peace on the domestic front, winning support for his government's revised state budget, and seeing his Labour Party jump in the latest public polls. Oh, so people are starting to support Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store and the Labour Party. Like they're gaining more supporters, more positive reviews in the polls, and I guess people are happy with his response to revising the state budget in Norway and focusing on defense. The Prime Minister, woke up Tuesday to some of the best news he's had in months. His party rose 2.4 points in the June poll. Wow, biggest rise by any of the 10 parties. Really? So the public opinion on the Labour Party and the Prime Minister is improving. I guess people like the direction that he's going with some of the policies. That's good. That's good. That Norway seems. It's always good when you're happy with your government and leadership. Okay, that's good. Good news for him. What else do we have here? We got a lot of news this week to get through. Triven Tower up for sale. Triven Tower. What is the Triven Tower? Oslo's city government has put up the Norwegian capital's iconic television tower, known as Trivanstarnet, or the Triven Tower. It's up for sale? You can do that? You can sell a giant tower? Why? Who is gonna buy a giant tower? This is in Oslo? It's such an unusual property, yeah. Perched on a hilltop, and it's worth 30 million krone. Okay, there it is. Is this an iconic tower in Oslo? I've never heard of this. Why is it up for sale? Who's gonna buy this thing? The tower was built in 1962, initially funded by the city. It was hailed being able to send broadcasting signals across the nation. No easy feat at the time. The tower became a top tourist attraction. It's visible from all over the city. Really? I didn't know about this. This is like an iconic Oslo landmark? Why are they selling it then? Why doesn't the city just own it? It was open to the public and equipped with an elevator, so you can go to the top and look around. On a clear day, you can see all the way to the Swedish border. Really? The city of Oslo emerged as the sole owner, but closed it to the public 20 years ago, because it was not safe. Okay. Why are they selling it, though? After broadcasting went digital, the tower senders and receivers were dismantled. It's been shut down. Earlier efforts to sell it have failed, but some of those interested initially may still make a bid. So, when this tower first became irrelevant, they tried to sell it. Even though first it was like a tourist attraction, but that was 20 years ago. Now it does nothing. It has no purpose, and they're trying to sell it. Okay. It's just weird to me that they're like selling a giant tower in Norway. Someone should build like a house inside of it and live there. That'd be cool. Be an expensive house. Weak krone keeps Norwegians home. What does that mean? More Norwegians will be competing with the tourists pouring off cruise ships and flying into Norway for holidays this summer. Oh, because Norway is having some financial difficulties with inflation and the weakening of the krone. Norwegians you're not traveling as much by the sound of it. Norway's weak currency makes traveling abroad much more expensive than usual. The central bank did not raise interest rates this week. Ah, yeah, that's what they've been doing that here in the United States, raising interest rates to try to bring inflation down here in America. Same thing happening in Norway. And yeah, people in America are not able to buy homes, certainly trying to save money, not going on vacation. Sounds like Norwegians have exactly the same plan. So Norway did not lower the interest rates. Just like here in America. Everyone's waiting for interest rates to go down. And it's very painful on the economy when those stay hiked. Oh, okay. Norway's inflation rate has been declining, though, down to 3%. Oh, wow. Norway has 3% inflation? That's good. That's like what America is trying to get to. Wow, okay. So the point is that Norway is slowly trying to handle inflation, and Norwegians are feeling some of that financial pain and not going on vacation this year as much. You just have to stay in Norway. Which, I mean, if I'm being honest, that sounds. That's not the worst thing ever. Norway is a beautiful, beautiful place. I think a lot of Norwegians go on vacation to other countries for better weather, to visit beaches and to experience warmer weather. I think that's the main point of Norwegians going on vacation. I think so. So in that sense, that this is probably very disappointing for a lot of Norwegians not being able to go on your vacation. But hopefully things continue to get better. Is there anything else in the news? Anything else? Inflation declines, but food prices rise. Food prices rising in Norway. Man, this has been a really, really tough time, I think, for a lot of countries all over the world. DFDS sells its Oslo cruise ferries. Oslo had a cruise ferry? Danish shipping company DFDS is selling its cruise ferry operations between Norway and Denmark, marking the end of an era for what's called Danskebatten, the Danish boat, among Norwegians. The ships have been carrying passengers, vehicles, and cargo for decades. This is a ferry between Norway and Denmark, and they're selling it? Are they shutting it down? They're shutting it down? Or are they switching to shipping goods rather than people? This route is part of our history and heritage. It's with a heavy heart that we found a new home for the route and will be saying goodbye to many valued colleagues. The company has called the ferry between Denmark and Norway a mini cruise. Is this going away? That's sad. Or is it just going off and passed off to new ownership? That's sad if it shuts down. Huh. But they sold the ferry, basically. Very interesting. This week was very, very interesting in the Norwegian news. Some bad news, some interesting news, some really random news, some like very specific stuff that you would never hear about here in America. And I think that's why I enjoy this so much. Like the Trivan Tower being sold, trying to fix executive pay raises, and selling this cruise ferry. This is the kind of stuff, like, I think it's so fun to hear about these stories happening in Norway and to stay on top of that. So I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this Norwegian news or any other Norwegian news that I might have missed that I should know about. That'd be very interesting to hear. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.